LeBron James is the greatest player of all time, but he never got to experience college. If he didn't go to the NBA immediately after graduation, would he have achieved the same level of success? With that question being asked, he's heading back to 03, and instead of declaring for the NBA draft, he's committing to Duke University and pursuing the college lifestyle. And at Duke, he would have a monstrous freshman season. He averaged 26 points, won a national title, and soon after, he was declaring for the NBA draft. LeBron was certainly living up to the hype, and that means he's going number 1, no matter who has the first overall pick.
With the first pick in the 2004 NBA Draft, the New York Knicks select LeBron James from Duke University.
Fresh out of college, LeBron was adapting to the NBA game pretty well, averaging 27 points and 5 assists. He of course won Rookie of the Year, but New York as a whole was looking pretty bad. Even with LeBron's generational talent, they only won 21 games and finished dead last in the NBA. But in the end, it was a blessing in disguise.
With the first pick in the 2005 NBA Draft, the New York Knicks select Chris Paul.
The Knicks just formed a young duo of stars who will take the league by storm. Chris Paul won Rookie of the Year, while LeBron averaged 30 points and made All-NBA first team. New York finished second in the East, and they were bound for a deep playoff run. Except, they got swept by the Bobcats in the first round. While LeBron has had amazing numbers in the regular season, it leaves us all wondering, can he do it in the playoffs? There are many concerns about LeBron's young career heading into year 3, but he ultimately set us all up by winning MVP at just 22 years old. And in the second round of the playoffs, he was facing his hometown Cleveland Cavaliers. But before focusing on this series, we have to go back in time a couple of years, and because LeBron went to college, the Cavs took a different small forward by the name of Carmelo Anthony. With the pressure of facing his hometown, along with the player being taken in his shoes, LeBron put up a fight, but the Knicks were quickly down 3-2. However, in the following game, he was why he was the MVP, scoring 47 points and grabbing 10 rebounds. But even when he played his best, the Knicks still lost. And to make matters worse, Carmelo would drag the Cavaliers all the way to the finals. And while they did lose in a quick 5-game series, it puts another question in our minds. Is Carmelo Anthony a better leader than LeBron James?
There's something about LeBron James that's really starting to alarm me.
At this point, history is being rewritten. The Denver Nuggets drafted Kevin Durant, who was one of LeBron's biggest rivals in real life. And not only was he in Denver, but they also had Dwayne Wade, who won 2 championships with LeBron. Something tells me that in the near future, these two could give LeBron some real problems. In 2008, LeBron won another MVP and began the playoffs by sweeping the Bucks, then dunking all over Boston. He was now in his first conference finals, and we saw a very familiar face as Carmelo and the Cavaliers were seeking another finals appearance. With a chance at revenge, LeBron gave his hometown Cavaliers a show, and while Cleveland would see one win at home, the series was over shortly after, and LeBron was now in the NBA Finals. But just because you're in the finals, it means nothing when you only win 2 out of 6 games. Nonetheless, in 09, he would win his 3rd straight MVP, and the Knicks had the most wins in the NBA. And to save some time, let's skip to the conference finals, where LeBron was facing Melo once again. Their playoff record is currently tied 1-1, and that's also how the series started. But after a fluke win for the Cavs, the Knicks won the next 3 straight, and we're heading back to the NBA Finals. While LeBron currently has an upper hand, they might play together in the future, since LeBron is from Ohio. But waiting for him in the NBA Finals was the Golden State Warriors and Dwight Howard, who was taken immediately after LeBron in the 04 draft. The Warriors stole game 1 in Knicks territory, which LeBron took very personally. New York then won 3 straight games and are now up 3-1. And while they did spare game 5 to Golden State, LeBron was ultimately bringing the New York Knicks franchise their first championship since 1973. And in the following season, they go on to win 69 games, ending up back in the conference finals, where they were dismantling the Magic and took a convincing 3-1 lead. But then something strange happened. The Magic won game 5 and then game 6 to force a game 7. Tracy McGrady was on a mission, but the operation will fall short as the Knicks balled out in game 7, heading back to the NBA Finals. And here was a rematch against the Warriors, where ultimately nothing changed. The Knicks were going back-to-back, and if LeBron can win 3 in a row, he might start getting comparisons to Michael Jordan. And I know you want to see if he does, so I'll make 2011 quick. The Knicks went back to the conference finals, met a Philadelphia squad who had Iverson, Westbrook, and Harden, took care of them in 4 games, and we're back in the finals. Only this time, LeBron was playing Wade and Durant, who I've said before could give them some issues. Almost instantly though, I took back my words. The Knicks had won a game in Denver. But then the next two would be won by the Nuggets. Following that, the Knicks then tied the series 2-2. However, Denver was back at home, and here they were going up 3-2. Kevin Durant's lanky frame and shooting ability, along with D-Wade's speed and finishing, was a disastrous duo to face. And in Game 6, the Knicks met their fate. The Nuggets were not only spoiling the Knicks three-peat, but also marked the beginning of a downfall in New York. In the following 2 years, they suffered back-to-back second-round losses, and LeBron is now a free agent. He will be signing a 3-year deal with the Los Angeles Lakers, pairing it with the 4-time champion Kobe Bryant. And these two would run the West, winning 62 games their first season together, along with the conference finals appearance. But here were the Nuggets in LeBron's way again, and Durant had just won MVP, averaging 31 points and 9 rebounds. Regardless of KD's accomplishments though, LeBron and Kobe were unstoppable at home. They won the first 2 games in Los Angeles, and they weren't even close. But games 3 and 4 would be in Denver, where they responded and won 2 games of their own. But those 2 were the only games they'd win because LA is going to the finals. And the opponent was Philadelphia, who LeBron had swept a couple years prior. The stakes were also high for both teams. If Philly wins, then they beat the greatest duo in NBA history, along with giving a 38-year-old Allen Iverson his only championship. But if LA wins, LeBron claims his 3rd, and Kobe gets his 5th. But realistically, we all know who won this matchup. The Lakers won the 2014 finals in 5 games, and it's pretty obvious they have a few more in them. The next year they went on to win 68 games. LeBron claimed his 4th MVP, and coming off a championship, it's no surprise LA went back to the finals to hold the throne. Only this time, they were playing the Brooklyn Nets, led by a young guard by the name of Steph Curry, who was taking the league by storm. And when you pair him with DeMarcus Cousins, Andre Iguodala, and Jimmy Butler, it forms a team that would be a challenge for anyone. But they didn't put fear in the Lakers' hearts, as Los Angeles won the first 2 games. But even while being down, Curry and the Nets were applying pressure. They'd win Game 3 and keep themselves in it. However, in Game 4, Kobe and LeBron were taking a 3-1 lead and are now just 1 game away from packing up Steph Curry and the Nets for good. But little did we know, Brooklyn would creep out the hole, and after 2 games of fighting, we're forcing a Game 7 in the 2015 NBA Finals. Both LeBron and Kobe's legacies are now on the line, and it's time to show the world who they are.
Job's not finished. Job finished? I don't think so.
Unfortunately for the Nets, it would be a massacre in Los Angeles, and LeBron was now a 4-time NBA champion. But if we take a look at Kobe, he's now with 6 rings. And while being tied with Michael Jordan is an accomplishment in itself, he's pushing for 7 and the title of greatest of all time. But we have to remember it's 2016, and Kobe will be retiring after this season. With that in mind, every Lakers game was completely sold out, as fans wanted to see the Mamba play one last time. By the end of the season, LA was the 2 seed. The 1 team ahead of them was the Portland Trail Blazers, who had a solid young tandem of Giannis and Joel Embiid. They'd also crossed paths in the Western Conference Finals, where the veteran experience of the Lakers would traumatize the Blazers.
When you're about to get freaky at night, you think about it.
And back in the NBA Finals, with the chance for 3 in a row, Paul George and the Heat were the last team standing. But Kobe took offense to the fact that PG wore his iconic number 24. And when you match that with his drive to win his 7th ring, at least to winning not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 straight games in the NBA Finals. Kobe now has 7 championships and is retiring as the greatest of all time. But LeBron isn't too far behind with 5. And if he can catch up, he might be stealing that title. But once again, LeBron's a free agent, and this time he's heading home to Ohio to play for the Cleveland Cavaliers, which means he's playing with former rival Carmelo Anthony and the 21-year-old Nikola Jokic, who hasn't quite yet put the pieces together. But being in a small market for once, LeBron began feeling the side effects. The Cavs lost in the first round in 2017, then faced the same fate a year later. It's now 2019, and LeBron is 34 years old. But just before we thought LeBron was on the decline, the Cavaliers began picking up momentum and finished this season 2nd in the East. LeBron showed he was beginning his 2nd prime by steamrolling the Bulls, and this momentum carried over to the Cavs bullying the Pacers. But in the conference finals, he was facing Brooklyn. But even when you put LeBron against the best guard in the league, he finds a way to dominate. And LeBron will cap off this historic championship run by knocking down mountains and devouring the Nuggets in 5 games. He's now at 6 chips and tied with Michael Jordan, but he's still tasting the greatness of his former teammate Kobe Bryant, who's still ahead by a single ring. And in the following 2020 season, the Cavaliers were on pace to finish first in the East once again. But we have to remember that LeBron and Carmelo are both 35 years old and don't have the same stamina that they used to. And this would affect the outcome of the Cavs season as they fell to 3rd. And while 3rd in the East isn't bad, they ran into Detroit, who are a defensive-minded team with young pieces that can make some noise. And starting off this series, they won Game 1 at home with Jaylen Brown scoring 31 points and making it look easy. But in Game 2, LeBron came out with a triple-double to tie the series. But heading to Cleveland for Game 3, the Pistons were desperate to show the world who they were, and that they did by not only winning Game 3, but taking Game 4 and then going back home packing up the Cavs in Game 5. But they wouldn't stop there, as they destroyed Boston in the conference finals and then hunted the Grizzlies, claiming their first title since 1990. And what makes it all so scary is that Jaylen Brown is only 23 years old and Tatum is only 22. If they stay together, they might keep LeBron from reaching GOAT status. But in 2021, the Cavs had a rough season and would finish as a play-in team. And while they lost to the Hawks, they would beat the Bulls and claim the 8th seed. But once again, they were playing Detroit, and let's just say nothing would change from last year. And I also forgot to mention, they were only similar to the present day, meaning LeBron only has 3 seasons left to either tie or pass Kobe in championships. But as time went on, the Cavs would only seem to get worse, missing the playoffs as a whole in 2022. LeBron now has to win the next 2 finals if he's gonna pass Kobe in championships. And faced with this reality, he would shake the NBA world as we know it. LeBron was on a 2-year deal with the Pistons and quite possibly stain his legacy for good.
Well, I'm viewing it as the weakest move I've ever seen from a superstar.
But who cares? Detroit won 66 games, ran through the Eastern Conference, and we're in the NBA Finals against Utah, who have Luka and Kyrie. This duo was serious, and it was looking like the Pistons had met their match as the Jazz will go up 2-1. And while Detroit won Game 4, the Jazz came right back and won Game 5, pushing this series to being 3-2. But all hope wasn't lost yet as Jaylen Brown posted a near triple-double, saving the series and forcing a Game 7. But in said Game 7, it wasn't looking too bright for the Pistons. Come on, LeBron, drive it, LeBron, to the basket, pump fakes, dumps it down to Jaylen Brown, layup, and the layup, he smokes the layup. Kyrie off the screen, mid-range pull-up, and he bricks the mid-range. LeBron driving it, open lane, LeBron with the dunk, making the game in 1 possession. Kyrie with the screen, over, he pulls a 3, fading, and the 3 is good. The Jazz are now up by 6. What will the Pistons do? George Hill with the same play to LeBron in the post. He's backing down his man, pump fakes. LeBron goes, oh, he gets blocked. He gets blocked. Tatum with the ball in the corner. Gets to Gobert, who gets to LeBron. LeBron pulls a 3. Oh, he misses the 3. That might have been the last straw, I'm not gonna lie. Luka driving it, pulls up the midi, and that might be the dagger. That is probably the dagger, man. The Pistons have lost the finals to the Utah Jazz. And after such a loss, LeBron can no longer surpass Kobe, but he can still tie him. And with that in mind, LeBron would announce that this would be his last dance in the NBA and wants to go out with a bang. So with that goal, he's still dominated at 39 years old. And pairing him with Tatum's crafty shot-making ability and Jaylen Brown's lockdown defense, they ended up back in the finals against Portland, who, if you remember, have Giannis and Joel. But in the end, they were no match for Detroit, who swept through the NBA Finals, and LeBron will win his 7th championship. And while he has tied Kobe in rings, he has 5 more Finals MVPs, including the stint they played together. In my eyes, LeBron is officially the greatest of all time, but what would happen if we restarted his career with stops in Cleveland, Miami, and Los Angeles? Will LeBron still be known as the GOAT? Click this video on the screen and let's find out what happens together.